All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Distinguished Speaker Series by Accelerate Global, where we go live every week in our YouTube channel. We bring experts in their field. This is one of my favorite things to do, by the way, is to bring experts in their field to come and talk about their area of expertise and give you the tips, the hacks, and on how to, for personal development, for entrepreneurship, so many different topics and genres. For those of you that are new to our channel, who are joining us for the first time, my name is Asma Wasti. I'm the founder and CEO of Accelerate Global. It's a personal development and educational growth online digital growth company that helps you in visibility of your brand, of your career, as well as startup of your business. If you are in the stages of starting a new business or within 3 years of starting a new business, connect with us. We are here to help you with it. However, today it has been my pleasure to invite to you and bring to you one of a fellow Canadian from Toronto. He is an amazing. He has an amazing story to tell. So I would like to introduce to you Amar Khanderia from Blossoming Success. He's the personal development coach. Thank you, Amar, for joining us today for the live interview.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you
It's
so
our
much.
pleasure. You're welcome. So, I would love to find out more about. I can't wait to dive into your story because it's really fascinating. When I first met you and heard about your story, I thought, "Oh, that's fantastic. That is something our audience will definitely benefit from." So, I know you're from Toronto, but you're tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and the environment that you grew up in, and then I'm going to dive into more about your work.
Right. No, thank you, Asma. It's a pleasure. My background, wow, it's it's been a roller coaster in the sense that I grew up in here in Toronto, Canada.
Mhm.
It was a wonderful experience with family and friends. Did university, studied a bit in Denmark, Copenhagen for a while. But I think that the big portion of everything that took place in my life was in India in itself.
Mhm.
I spent around 17 years with my teacher, learning about personal development and how to go within, but also helping marginalized communities across the board. I mean, with food, with training, with education. So it's been a blast thus far, and now I'm back in Toronto, helping nonprofits do their thing.
Mhm.
Help with their programming when it comes to mental health, when it comes to global warming, when it comes to natural disasters that just recently happened in Haiti. So we're just working with a lot of nonprofits to get them going as well. So it's been a beautiful blend. Um, and yeah, very thankful for that.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about your blossoming success, because now you're an entrepreneur, you're a personal development coach, but that's not really your background, is it? You developed it over time. You come from a corporate sector, right? Corporate background,
Mhm.
right? You've worked
Yes.
in that capacity before. And it's amazing how transferable our skills are, but what a 180 it is also a number of times in what we do and what we're doing now. And yet, you find success in every field, which means it's there it comes from the personality that's behind it. We can find success in any area. You mentioned that 17 years spent in India. That's an interesting story to tell. Tell us about how did that come about?
Oh, wow. So, yeah, so after university, I mean, after my stint in Denmark, finished my last semester of university, I thought, okay, let me go to India before I start my career, so to say. And so I went, and it's funny because I landed in Bombay Airport, and when I came out of the airport, I'm standing there, and someone grabs my leg, and I look down, and there's one boy, and he doesn't have legs; he has one arm, and he's grabbing on my leg, and that, I mean, that was a changing point of what is, because I know things like that happen, but when it happens, when you see it and happens to you, it definitely hits you right in the heart. So from that experience, I thought, okay, something has to be done, um, more so than um, just living the life that I was living. I just wanted
And
to
that
make that
was the
impact.
moment that you landed in India. You didn't go there for what you're telling us right now. Did you go there for that purpose? Why did
No,
you
I
go
didn't.
there?
I actually went to see, there was a teacher,
Mhm.
a well-known teacher, a spiritual teacher, and he's like very propagated wonderful teachings and values. So I thought, okay, let
Mhm.
me go. hear from him, spend time in his place, and then come back. So that was my intention initially. But during the visit and during my entry into India, that experience was really mind blowing in itself.
Mhm.
And yeah, and when I got to the place, a friend of mine mentioned to go see another teacher who also propagates some of the same principles, and it was based on that I went to see her, and one thing led to another, and I spent 17 years with her, and she taught me all that I know in terms of personal development, but also giving back to the community. So
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about that moment. So that little boy touched your heart and at the right place. And that's like right off stepping off out of your the airport. You weren't prepared for that, were you?
no, I wasn't. I mean, I was just waiting for my taxi, and then when someone grabs your leg, it's kind
Mhm.
of like, what's going on? And when I saw that, it was a bit heartbreaking because he's looking right in my eyes and he's basically helpless.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that something really had to be done on that front.
So
So
what changed? So what did you decide at that moment? How did that change your plans? What happened then?
I think it didn't really change my plans. It just planted a seed,
Mhm.
that, the seed was planted that something has to be done. And
Mhm.
what was that to be done? I had no idea. When I
Mm.
went to the place where I was visiting and I met my teacher,
Mhm.
and that's when I knew, because that knowingness comes from within. That okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is the purpose of the way you're supposed to be going down the road. So I
Uh-huh.
kind of knew afterwards, and both of them kind of clubbed together. So yeah.
So was that a life-defining moment where we see and think that an aha moment where, oh, I found the purpose of my life, or was it yet to be discovered?
It was yet to be discovered. I think that incident, as I mentioned, laid the seed. But then when I was with my teacher for many years, and practicing meditation and practicing the various principles that she taught me, I
Mhm.
knew that there was something more than just what I see, what meets the eye outside. It was more of an inner world, an inner journey that had to be taken. And I found much more satisfaction in that journey than
Mhm.
anything else that I've experienced outside. So I was like, wow, there's something here that is beautiful and has to be tapped into. And through that process, I was able to go, within, but also the teacher also taught that okay, you can go within, but then obviously see that beauty outside as well. So it's kind of like an in and out approach,
Mhm.
and now it's been a beautiful experience to see that outside as well. So yeah.
Amazing. So it's inner world meets the outer world. Your outer world also connected with your inner world to showcase exactly what the changes have happened. What changes happened in that process for you personally?
I think it was the toughest experience of my life, I think,
Mhm.
because you're in an environment where there's no TV, there's no movie, there's no friends to actually
Ah.
distract you from yourself, right? So when you're dealing with all your I guess your inner stuff, whether it be jealousy, ego, anger, hatred, all those things that are within me at least, that are coming up, and you're kind of dealing with them. There's nothing to distract you from them. So
Mhm.
that process of going through those experiences and learning from them was really tough, but very fruitful at the same time. I still remember I was with my teacher one day, and I said, I mean, this is impossible. I'm trying to go within, and okay, they say purify yourself, but like one thing comes, the next thing comes. One thing goes, the next. So
Mhm.
it was a never ending process. But she said to me something very beautiful. She said, when you're going up a mountain, she goes, you're going up a mountain and you want to get to the second mountain. To
Mhm.
get to the second mountain, you got to go up one, but you got to go down the first to get to the second,
What a
right?
beautiful thing to say. Yeah,
So,
that's
so
amazing.
yeah. So in that sense, the down is actually taking you up.
Right.
So see it like that.
Right. I'm
Um,
gonna steal that analogy from you and your teacher if it's okay with you. That's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. That is what life is. And that's what a journey of an entrepreneur is, because a number of our audiences are entrepreneurs. And sometimes when we're uphill, we're in a euphoria state that, oh, everything is wonderful and working well for us. And when we start hitting that plateau or start coming down because some things are not, and they don't always work for us, we start doubting ourselves. We start
Mhm.
doubting our own skills and our own personality. So, in that journey of 17 years, how did that affect you to where you are today and doing your business the way you do for blossoming success?
Right. Thank you for saying that. So, Asma, like I always had the inclination, as I mentioned earlier, that I wanted to make a positive impact, even from a young age.
Mhm.
That thought was always with me. And then when I went over to India
Mhm.
and learned a lot about myself, but
Mhm.
making that positive impact, helping marginalized communities, whether it be giving the basic needs or creating a water project to give them life-sustaining water,
Mhm.
or to give them education and training to actually have sustainable employment to make their own income. And through that, I saw so many benefits that they were getting from those programs,
Mhm.
as well as being interacting with them and helping them with their personal problems or
Mhm.
issues they may be facing in their lives. So in that process, clubbing both together, I was like, wow, this it had such a great impact that why not come back to where my hometown was, anyways, and
Mhm.
do something to help people here as well. And from so that planted the seed, and now I'm here now in the personal development industry, as well as helping nonprofits, as
Mhm.
well in their service projects, helping others. So
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit. So did when you came back after 17 years, you started blossoming success right away, or you were still in that journey and path of finding yourself? Were you you reached nirvana at that time?
no, there's no nirvana. I'm still going through my own stuff, but no, not like that. But sorry, this is kind of I think when I came back, it was more of a just settling down, seeing where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do,
Mhm.
and just trying to gauge where I'm supposed to go forward. And then it was just a natural thing. This is what I did before, and this is what I'm going to do now, and kind of just take those steps forward. And
Mhm.
that's how I kind of got into blossoming success. I was looking at where I can make that impact,
Mhm.
and I found a international partner who's created international personal development programming that is really effective, because I went through some of the programming myself. And I
Mhm.
thought, okay, wow, let me join hands and collaborate with this company in itself
Mhm.
and promote these principles. And it's been a blessing because I've been able to not only promote these products, but be able to talk to leads from around the world,
Mhm.
from like Egypt, Brazil, India, Australia,
Mhm.
Japan. And it's just been amazing touching base with individuals who are on the same mindset about personal development and their thoughts. And I've been learning from everybody myself. So it's been a beautiful experience in that sense as well. So yeah.
Mhm. And it has transformed you too. You said you looked different back when, right? And but it does have an impact, because we do have another client from Bulgaria, and he's gone through a similar journey, and he's doing the same, and he's a highly successful gentleman. And he says that when your world meets the outer world, it automatically starts to showcase, right? You don't have to work hard at it. It automatically connects, right? It's a natural progress and a natural process, right? And it happened for you too. So personal development is a pretty big, all-encompassing kind of a word. What does that really mean?
Wow. So yeah, personal development. It's for me at least. Sorry, this is coming. For me at least, it's been an inner. It's just about developing yourself, and what does that mean, right? Like we can go to the library, right? You do research on a project or a topic, right?
Hmm.
You present the research, you get marks for it. So we're researching so many things happening outside of us, but are we actually looking at this beautiful machine, or we can call it machine, or whatever you may call it, that's here, and how
Hmm.
it operates, how it works, and how to actually make it function the best possible way,
Hmm.
right? So the development for me was understanding what this is, first of all, right? And then understanding the subtle aspects of it, that there's something more to this as well, right? We have a body,
Hmm.
perfect. We have a mind that where thoughts come and they go and pass. Okay, but what is it that? What is the engine that's actually making this and everything actually function? Right? There must be something behind all this, and touching into that and seeing what is that and experiencing that and understanding that
Hmm.
was the most beautiful experience for me. And
Amazing.
from my own experience, is when you tap into something like that, as you mentioned, the outer changes automatically. And so I knew that this worked for me, and this is an education and a topic that everybody should be aware of, because their life will transform for the better. Not to say you're going to be floating in the air or like meditating 100 years, like no, no, I'm not saying that, but you're going to live life to your fullest. You're going to
Hmm.
enjoy life. You're going to take on the problems that you have, knowing that it's actually going to be taking you to the next mountain, right? So
Wow.
it's your perception changes, and you
Mm.
handle life in a much beautiful way. So I can
Wow. That
that's
sounds remarkable. So tell us a few examples of how, when an inner world meets the outer world, what are the changes that you see or you've seen in others? Because everybody's pain points are different, right? They're seeking something. They may think that they're seeking, but actually, it could be something different. That's they haven't perceived it well. May not have self-awareness in that manner. So give examples, a few of, you know, maybe for yourself as a case study or someone else as a case study of what happens in that case.
Yeah, so some experiences I've had where the inner meet the outer.
Mhm,
So for the inner to meet the outer, first there should be an inner, right? To be able to see that you're seeing things differently. So when I was in Toronto initially, I know how I saw the world, and
mhm,
then when I was able to have these various experiences, like one day I remember I was sitting there and I was meditating, and
mhm,
there's one teacher. His name is Ramana Maharishi specifically, and
mhm,
he asked this question: Who am I? Right? Who are you? Right? Who is that
mhm,
fundamental principle within you? And I was like, I ain't gonna get up from this tape this platform till I figure that question out. Right?
mhm.
Come what may. So I sat there. I remember for hours and hours. I was like, my body's like, get up. You can't. I mean, you got to eat something. You got to do something. I mean, what are you doing here? Why are you sitting here? The answer is not going to come. I said, come what may. I'm gonna figure out this question.
Right.
And I kept persisting, kept persisting, kept persisting, and bam, at that point, there was a point in time where there was no consciousness of who I was, where I was. I opened my eyes. I didn't know where I was. All I could see was this white light everywhere. And I knew in that moment that there was truth behind those words. Like fundamentally, I know I can read a book, I can listen to people, okay, you are this, you are something more, your consciousness. I mean, but that to me was just theoretical. But when I experienced it in that moment, I was like, wow, um, there's a truth behind this, that there's something beyond that which I am. And when I knew that, then my perception totally changed, because now I see things for what they are.
Mhm,
That there's something more behind everything that's taking place,
mm,
whether good or whether bad. And I'm not to say that I still have my moments. Yeah, I mean, I
mm,
go through a situation, but I'm better able equipped to manage the situation. But we still have our moments as humans, and we
mhm.
keep going forward with the tools that we have, and it makes it much better. So I'm able to see things better and react rather than, I mean, sorry, respond rather than react to
Yeah.
situations. So
Right.
yeah,
I was going to ask you this question a little bit more in
yeah,
detail as to how does this help you navigate your life, achieve your goals, reset your goals, maybe find better understanding your challenges, because we all go through life challenges, how to tackle them, how do we, as you said, respond versus react. How does that impact us when we're actually able to figure out, the way you said that you were able to literally sit there and understand that, yeah, I'm going to answer this existential question of who am I and why am
yeah.
I here?
Wow. So the challenges, I mean, the challenges that come in our life, I mean, they're passing clouds. You're going to see that one day you're going to be in a rut, and one day you're going to be on cloud 108, or you're happy. So you can see from your own life experience that things pass over time,
Mhm,
right? And that knowingness that things are going to pass
mhm.
is a fundamental point to know that you're gonna get through this issue. So it's not really something that's permanent, right? But
This
at the
too
same
shall
time,
pass, right?
this too shall pass.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to have the tools in that moment, it's easy to say something when you're out of the box, but when you're in the box, experiencing that challenge, what
Mhm,
do? Right? It's easy for me to say, okay, this too shall pass, but that means nothing to me when I'm actually in it, right?
mhm,
So it's in that process. We're equipped with tools to be able to manage that, right?
mhm,
And what are those tools? I mean, everybody has various tools that they've learned that help them. For me, I mean, it's been my obviously my process of meditation has have helped me to stay in a calm place, more grounded. Number two, to be more present rather than thinking of the past and the future. What am I
mhm.
doing now, and how do I focus on now,
Good
right? Because
point.
we kind of tend to look at our problems and say, okay, where am I going to be? Where's it going to take me, right?
Mhm,
Or we're going to look at a memory that actually took place. We're
mhm,
experiencing something now, and based on a memory, we're going to react. Okay,
mhm,
this is what I did last time. This is what's going to happen now, but not necessarily this is what's going to happen now. So you got to be kind of in this moment and kind of deal with the situation as best as possible.
It's one of the most challenging things to do because we either are
Yeah,
living in the past and reminiscing the good times, or we're
yeah,
looking at the future to what we want to achieve. But
right,
being in the present is one of, to me, I've found is one of the most difficult things to do, is to, every single moment, every single breath, whatever's happening to you now, take it for what it is and live
yeah.
in that moment versus that's amazing. I mean, what you're telling me and having the tools to do that. Please go ahead. I'm sorry, did I cut you short from
No,
it?
no, no, Asma. I mean, that's basically it. To have the tools, but also have the knowingness that things pass. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is permanent. And
So
when you
with
have that, yeah, sorry.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I said when you have that knowingness, then you know that you're going to be good sooner or
So
later.
with the
So yeah,
blossoming success, and you, is that what you do as a personal development coach? You provide the tools for people to be able to tackle their challenges better, and that help.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As much to give the tools for them, as I mentioned, to deal with their challenges
Hmm.
and live a more authentic and abundant life.
Hmm.
But at the same time, from my experience and from my own teacher and my own coaches,
Hmm.
um, from the experiences I've learned from them,
Hmm.
how to give that to others as well, because
Hmm.
I am who I am based on them. So
Hmm.
it's just me developing myself based on their beautiful advice and their teachings that I
Hmm.
can help another from my own experience, um, and do the best I can. So yeah,
That's awesome. And you have a remarkable experience, as you said. It's a life transforming experience, and you've spent a big part of your life in developing this
yeah,
as an individual, and now as a coach that you're working on and providing those tools to others to tackle their challenges better. Now, I would like to. I know we're coming almost to the end. We still have a little bit of time, but I would like to tackle these two words that you use: authentic and abundant, right? To being using our life to its authenticity, because I've heard other life coaches use those terms and terminology, but for everybody it's different, and for some people the understanding is different. When we say your authentic self, or when we say living an abundant life, what does that really mean, right? When we're, because a lot of it's kind of like a terminology, it's kind of like computer language, coding language that kind of beats me to understand. Right, I can't code the computer if I don't understand that language and how to program it. So yeah, if you can describe that, what does that really mean?
authenticity. Wow, that's a beautiful term, and as you mentioned, everybody has their own kind of twist to it, but
Mhm.
it's more or less kind of being true to yourself. But what I found for myself is we can operate from the mind, right? The mind has
Mhm.
various thoughts, right? Is that really authentic, or is that based on your impressions of your past experiences or situations you've been in?
Mhm.
And you operate, your action is based on how you think,
Mhm.
right? So if that's changing and those things are changing, then for myself, I would say that's not truly authentic, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm one person one day, I'm another person another day, I'm
Mhm.
another person another day, based on how I react to situations, which is based on my inner programming, which is based on my thoughts that I have
Mhm.
that come from the subconscious.
Mhm.
So that authenticity that I found is when I'm truly within myself and I'm really touched that which is the most authentic, which doesn't change. And when you're in that space, the thoughts that come to you, the actions that come to you are kind of guided in the way that the
Mhm.
best way you're supposed to be and the best action you're supposed to be taking,
Mhm.
not second guessing yourself or not based on something that happened in the past or in the future. So authenticity is coming from that space rather than from a space of thinking per se.
Love
Um,
that. Love
and
that. Yeah.
yeah, so and
Good.
abundance per se, sorry, abundance is that just recognizing that and living in that space as much as possible.
Mhm.
And from that, as you said, your friend who was overseas in Bulgaria, I
Mhm.
think,
Mhm.
the inner meets the outer, and then things just start falling into place,
Mhm.
right? Naturally. So
Okay, I agree. We've got a question here for a viewer. She says, "How do we practice mindfulness on a daily basis?" Good question, Najiba. Thank you.
Oh, that's a beautiful. Thank you. That's a beautiful question. Mindfulness. So
Mhm.
I start my day
Mhm.
um, in meditation, and
Mhm.
I start that platform starting the day with that. And
Mhm.
first, I focus on first my five senses. My touch, my sense of sight, my sense of taste, my sense. I make myself aware of all the five senses one by one, and then I make them aware simultaneously. So when
Mhm.
I'm aware of everything all at one time, I'm in that moment.
Mhm.
And then when I'm established in that moment, then I focus on everything I'm doing in that moment rather than thinking, okay, talk about thinking about the past, thinking about the future. I focus on that activity right away. Obviously, my mind will go here and there, but I kind of bring it back.
Mhm.
Another thing that helps me in my mindfulness is becoming grounded. And there's
Mhm.
various techniques to ground yourself when you're actually out of balance, right?
Mhm.
And one technique that I do use is that we have seven chakras in our body, and the last one is the root chakra. And in
Mhm.
the root chakra, you sense that energy going down to the ground, and in that grounding, you're grounding yourself with Mother Earth, which is the grounding energy in itself. And when you stabilize yourself with her, with something such so grounded, you're going to see that you're actually more in alignment going forward throughout your day. So the practice of doing that and focusing my intention on being present helps me in that mindfulness. I'm not sure, but hopefully that
Thank you.
answers your
That
question.
that you gave us a lot of tools actually, just to and then a lot of food for thought to think about and meditation. I start my day with meditation as well, and that actually sets the tone. Now I have a question because I know I get this question from others constantly as well. So should I not be making a to-do list for my day or the week?
No, I do that. I still do that. I still have my to-do list.
Yeah.
I know exactly how I'm going to time box my schedule.
Hmm.
But obviously during the day, things will come up that you may have to, rectify or change up. And
Hmm.
sometimes there's an inner feeling that okay, I should do this now rather than this. So it's kind of a give and take. But you just got to be open to making the changes that you got to make to be successful.
Wonderful. So the tools that you provide, Amar, in this process of personal development, you have a program, you have a course that actually takes a certain time period for them when they get into it with you. How does that work
Yeah,
with them?
yeah. So we have various programs. We
Mhm.
have a 17-day prosperity program.
Mhm.
We have two other programs that we have initially, but I'm actually creating my own program in itself
Mhm.
with the company to kind of like
Mhm.
structure it in a way that I felt could be better for people just living in the world, right? Because we have
Mhm.
various situations with work, with family,
Mhm.
just how life in itself. So I think that's really important how to deal with the situations we have in life rather than just a tool in itself and not being able
Mhm.
to apply it to our daily living. So I'm trying to, starting to create something that will have
That's
that impact.
amazing to understand what it is. Number one, to have the awareness, to have the tool, and then to implement it, to have the results that is driven by it and measure it by the success. So that's
Right.
awesome. That's amazing. That's a wonderful program. Thank you for that. Anything that you can offer? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but most of our viewers do that. Our guest speakers do that actually. Anything that you can offer to our viewers, to our members, that how maybe. A 30-minute a call or something which is worth their value with you, that would be awesome if they can and connect with you there.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm ready to offer about ten sessions of 30 minutes each, and just to help anyone who would think they would
We're
benefit
gonna
from
put
my
that. We're gonna
services.
put that in a pot and actually do a draw for them. Actually,
Okay.
so it's going to be, it's one of a kind thing because it's not that easily available. Obviously, its time is valuable. Time is money, and Amar's time is obviously very, very, driven by so many other things that he's doing, and he's got his clients. So definitely, we're going to do a draw for the 10 sessions, 30-minute sessions. So you're offering 30. Um, uh, with 10 sessions for 30 minutes. So that's a lot, 300 minutes. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. We're going to put that in and publicize it on our Facebook. Hopefully you connect with us there too, as well, Amar. Our time has gone by pretty fast. Can you imagine? It's already 30 minutes from where we started. But
Right.
that's an amazing journey you took us. I still want to ask you one last question because you talked about a very intense life defining moment that you had that took you on a journey and a path. And you also talked about being authentic to yourself, being living in the moment, living in, life to abundance. But what part of you are still there growing up in Toronto, the child you were, the characteristics you have, nurture versus, I don't want to get into nurture versus nature debate at this hour and this time, but how much of you, because a lot of times I hear from entrepreneurs who are running businesses like this say, oh, you got to be a born person like who's got to be able to do this, that you already are born with those skill sets, or you got to have a certain kind of a personality to survive in this kind of a environment of business acceleration. I want to hear from you. Is that true? Or because you are here and you have a certain kind of a viewpoint, right, and that you bring to the table, what part of it is that you brought from your childhood and what you developed and nurtured further as a business?
That's a good question. So I think as an entrepreneur,
Mhm,
as I mentioned, you're going to have those ups and downs
mhm,
that every individual has. It's just an entrepreneur life is just like life itself. We
mhm,
go through ups, we go through downs. But the key to know is to know the value that you're bringing to your customer. Know the
mhm,
value that you're bringing, and when you know your point and what you can offer, that's
mhm,
going to benefit the other individual. That's how I see it. What can I do to help the other individual? And when I know that there's something here that even in the down moments with if things are going up or things are going down,
mhm,
you just got to keep going forward because you know that there's value in your message and there's value you can offer to another. And that's been my fundamental principle since I was young. What can
mhm.
I give back and what can I do for another? So with that mentality, I've gone forward, and that helps
That
me go.
that
Yeah.
tells me that yeah, and that's why the universe took you in the path that it took you. Now I get it. I get why you do what you do for a reason, right? With that transformation as well that brings to people's lives. We're going to be providing all the links to Amar and Blossoming Success underneath our YouTube channel interview that will be posted there. It's already there, but we will be reposting it again tomorrow, and you will find all the links that you can connect with Amar. Amar has so graciously given us so many hours and minutes of his time that we will be doing a draw for in our Facebook group. So you will find the link there as well for the Webinar Accelerator Facebook group. Please go and click on it, connect with us if you want to be in the running for the draw for Amar's time that he's so graciously given to us. So thank you again, Amar. It was a wonderful conversation. I truly appreciate your time that you've given us today to be on our Distinguished Speaker Series.
No, thank you, Asma, and thank you everyone for listening. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to connect with people.
Mhm.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Where they can find you, they can connect with you on LinkedIn. They can connect with you on where else are you present?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, on my official site.
Mhm,
There's a portion where they can actually drop off their email and phone number.
mhm.
So yeah, LinkedIn, my website, and Facebook.
And it's
So
Amar Khanderia on LinkedIn. Please go ahead and connect with him, connect with us, connect with Asma Wasti, connect with Accelerate Global. You will love the amount of value and the resources that you find there. Thank you again. And we will be back again next week with a new guest, with a new story, with a new brand, with a new specialized skills that you will learn from. I can't wait to bring the other speaker again. And thank you once again for Amar to be a part of our series today. See you again, folks. Take care. Bye now.
thank you.